Hey guys, it's Jonah here, back with another beer review, and I'm going to be doing a mellow one this time. And it's a mellow one from the Northern Monk magazine. And yeah, something weird happened because I was looking through the magazine, and obviously I was looking at this Pastore versus Northern Monk, and obviously Pastore, the beer that we're doing today, which the Belgian table beer. It's called ROLLE BOLLE, Pastore 3.4%. And I was reading up on Pastore. I'll go back to the can in a second. Reading up on Pastore. And then I turned over the page and I found an article on Rivington. I was like, what the hell, man? And when you look, because I'm not a complete nonce, when you look at the actual thing there, it does not mention Rivington in there at all. And that's what I looked at. I should have read the magazine, worked it out. Rivington's in there. But hey, never mind. Anyway, back to Pastore. Really nice article in there. And it's a 4-page spread. And basically, I didn't really know too much about Pastore, apart from, obviously, the name Louis Pasteur, who basically helped us out with brewing, because he was kind of like the father of yeast and little micro cultures and weird things like that, bacteria you could say as well. But yeah, yeast are definitely in there. And this is a brewery from Cambridge, who were a father and son apparently. Yeah, brewing and blending Pasteur. There we go. Very, very cool. All it says here is, where there's a game of rouley booley, a beer won't be far away. Easy drinking, light and zesty. Take a sip, study the court, and roll on. And roly boly is like a game, I believe. I've actually looked that up because I'm more interested in the beer itself. But I believe it's like kind of, is it like drafts or an odd version of shove halfpenny, perhaps? Roly boly. Anywho, let us have a look on the can. It is light as anything. Well, some miles are more than this. I'm surprised they didn't call it an IPA, to be perfectly honest. But Belgium table beer, 3.4%, made by Northern Monk in Leeds and all that good stuff. But there is a description, should you believe such things, on this beer from Beer 52. So let me get this to focus on Roly Boly again. There we go. Belgian table beer, really interesting. The Belgian table beer is an opportunity for the humble yeast to shine. Easy drinking beer, bumming, brimming with aromatic esters, citrus peel, banana and clove, rose petal, etc. Underneath lies tangerine, lemon balm, and basil notes from a combination of the SARS and the Eldorado hops. We got some wheat in there. We got some Munich malt in there, which I believe is as a derivative of wheat. It's a wheat malt. So no oats in this bad boy. However, I'm an enigma sometimes. I actually quite enjoy table beer sometimes. I really like the Colonel table beer. That is a fantastic beer. Belgian table beer? Don't know. Let's see what we get. I'm assuming they're calling it this because they're using the Belgian yeast, because it was brewed in Leeds. Get it in a glass and we will see what we get. But this is definitely not a hazy pale. For a change, so many beers copying each other. It gets absolutely crazy. Wow. Good fingers head on there, bad boy, at the moment. Is that going to fit on there? Not easily. So let's do one of these. Roly boly. Back a bit more. Cheesy grin for luck, and we're on our way. Wow. I was saying that the one of the beers the other day was fantastically clear. That is really, it doesn't get too much clearer than that. You can see all sorts through this beer. Carbonation level quite low actually. Fluffy white head has disappeared already. See if it will pick out those bubbles. Hopefully you're looking at the bubbles there and you're looking at me through there. Hello again. This is going to be really interesting. Well, I'm glad to say I am getting yeast. Now, I'm getting clove and banana. No surprise there because it's a Belgian strain. I think I'm going more clove over the banana. And that is not unusual considering the alcohol content is quite low. So for a Belgian yeast to give up different esters, you kind of either let it go mellow or you put a lot of stress on the yeast. You can do that by the amount of sugar, you can do that by yeast health, you can do that by pressure. So you're controlling what the yeast picks up, if you like, by all that sort of temperature as well. You can stress the yeast out. But in this one, I'm getting a lot more clove than anything else. They were talking about all sorts of other notes. Not getting any of the kind of citrusy notes or the lemon balm they call it. Perhaps there's something a little bit floral in there, but I would say clove and a bit of banana in the background. Cheers and beers, guys. Let's see what we get from this table beer. By the way, if you're new to the channel, I always say this, think about subscribing. Why don't you click like to the video? All those kind of things help me out no end, as does leaving a comment down below. It's the YouTube way. I don't make the rules. That's what YouTube does. Right, let's dive in. Oh, interesting. Yes, the clove is there, but there is a kind of lemony, lemony, maybe lemon lime thing going on. Maybe it's a bitterness. Maybe it's more of a kind of inoculation, like a lambic kind of thing. But it's really mild. It's quite a light beer, and the tastes are light as well. The clove thing is 100% there. That's probably what you'll get first, and then you get this weird, secondary kind of bitterness from the lemon. Is it to do with the hops used? Yeah, possibly. Perhaps it's to do with the yeast and the way they stress the yeast out. Sometimes you get that from certain Belgian beers. Now, I don't know about this table beer, but obviously the style, wit beer style or vice beer style, however you'd like to say it, the white beer style, is all controlled by the yeast. And it's not unusual to get the banana and the clove. This is definitely a clove one. Yeah. I'm calling it lemon balm. I think I'd call it lemon and lime. Don't know about the tangerine though. I'm not getting that at all. Interesting. As I'm going down the glass, I'm now picking up some more banana there. The clove is still there, but now I'm getting a little bit more banana kind of creaminess. And don't forget, there's no oats in here. There is some wheat apparently, and the Munich malt as well, which is a kind of style of wheat malt. But it's super clear. So interesting that they've done that kind of thing. Am I getting anything major else? They talked about things like a flowery kind of rose petally thing. Not really getting that, to be perfectly honest. And at 3.4, this is a very, very light beer. Back in the day, lagers used to be like this. They used to be that kind of strength, like 3.5. Was pretty standard. Wow. So there is some carbonation in there. Yeah, so it's kind of bringing back lager type memories. Obviously, brain body connection, and in this case, brain taste connection. But it definitely doesn't taste like a lager. It's the kind of body, probably the alcohol level kind of thing. What was it? Heineken? Was it Heineken and those type of beers? They all tended to be 3.5%. It was weird. It was weird back in the late 80s. Very strange. Yeah, more of the same, to be perfectly honest. A lot of people have called it watery. Yes, it is, but it's supposed to be like that. It's a table beer after all. If you don't know the style itself, this is like a house beer that people would basically make. Um, it's the old, sometimes not exactly true in historical record of people drinking very light beer instead of drinking water. And that's kind of where the table beer thing comes from. When you're having a meal, you would drink a table beer instead of drinking water because the brewing process drove out some of the nasties in the water, helped purify it into beer. But it probably wasn't 3.5%. You'd be lucky if it was like 1%, to be honest, in those days. But that's kind of where it came from. Um, and again, you're looking at, from a Belgian point of view, you're looking at a beer that would be served with meal times. So maybe if you were lucky enough to work in an abbey or help out an abbey as maybe a gardener or gamekeeper or whatever it is, and it wasn't 100% the monks. And even the monks would probably be drinking, a weaker form of beer. It's not a Patters beer, um, or those kind, not an alt beer, obviously, or an Abbott's beer, that kind of thing. No, this is definitely not. This is the lowdown. Drink this with your food. Shum on. It is actually quite nice, and it is supposed to be like that. That's the important thing. If I've got my beer judge's hat on, half the time I'm thinking, is this beer to the right style? And yeah, I reckon it is. Definitely a table beer, and it's definitely a kind of Belgium because of the yeast used. Is Belgian table beer an actual style that's going to take over? Not 100% sure. It's very niche, shall we say, but not too bad. If you like your funky beers, this is probably not the one for you, but it's giving you the kind of hints of what could become with a stronger beer, a farmhouse style, as opposed to a kind of table style. You know what? I actually enjoyed that more than I thought I was going to. Personally, I like something stronger, really, but I like trying new beers, and that is the Roly Boly. They even look like cheeses, don't they? And obviously, Boule or Bole is based on cheese, but I think this is based on a game. Not 100% sure. Northern Monk and Pastore. So we're talking Leeds versus Cambridge. That usually happens on University Challenge and not in the beer, but this is quite a nice one. This has been your loving Uncle Jonah, drinking beers, all types of different beers, for your entertainment. And don't panic, that one was quite a mellow one. You never know what will happen next. I still have some serious beers in the fridge. Nothing too loony, but definitely higher than 3.4. But until then, Uncle Jonah will return with another beer review real soon.